All right, everyone, now that you know how to evaluate exponents, we are going to now practice what we just learned today. So if you are struggling, since you are looking at this and looking at the recording, since we're not live right now, I have some resources. There's going to be a video right here of me talking through the problems with you, and this X is a multiplication table. So if you click on it, it's going to take you to your master notebook, and it's going to take you to your multiplication slide. So it's going to load your notebook, and then it's going to load the slides. And once it loads the slides, it's going to take you to your multiplication table. So if you're someone who needs to use it, please do. It's a resource for you to be successful while we're doing this virtual learning. So the first question, it says, which of the following has the greatest value? When it says greatest value, we're looking for the answer of A, B, C, or D that has the largest standard form of their exponent. So if we have 5 squared, that's like saying, if we had to write that in expanded form, that's saying 5 times 5. Now the way I showed you to go to that multiplication table, you would go to that multiplication table, I already have it open, and you would say 5 times 5, where they meet, you would follow that color and it would get you to 25. So you're going to have to go back to this tab. You're going to have to click back and forth between the tabs once it opens your resource or your math notebook. So then you're going to put 25, okay? So 7 squared in expanded form is 7 times 7, because remember that exponent tells you how many times you multiply a base by itself. So 7 times 7 is 49. Oops. All right, now this 3 to the 4th, you have to do 3. You're not doing 3 times 4, ever. Will you ever, never, ever multiply the base by the exponent? Ever, ever. So you have to multiply 3 by itself 4 times. So that'd be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So there's 4 3s there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that you're going to sit here and do 3 times 3. So I'm actually going to go in my little notepad over here and do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, it's going to be a little bit off, but my notebook bad's okay. So we look here, and I'm actually going to put a circle around my first set of 3's. So you have 3 times 3, and I actually have to make the filling transparent. So you have 3 times 3, which we know is 9. So we have 9. And then we have that times sign right here. That has to come down. So we're going to times by 9. So then I'm also going to draw another circle around the other set of 3. Oops, if I can hit it. I'm also going to draw another circle around my 3's. And then I'm going to make the filling transparent so you can see the 3's. So you have another 3 times 3. So you would have 9 for that. So now we have to do 9 times 9. So 9 times 9, if you don't know, you would go to your chart, 9, and then you would have to follow. I like to use my other finger and go to the other 9 and where they meet, but this chart helps you because it's color coordinated. So you would stay with the color, and it gives you 81. So then you would do 81 as your answer, okay? So then you would put in your box of 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 equals 81. And I'm actually going to make that chart bigger. 81. Okay. So then the next, I'm going to make another board. We have, because we're going to have to do this one together too. You have 2 to the 6th power. So that means you have to do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 4. That's another 4, 5, and that's 6. So there's our 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so if we look, we have one group of 2, another group of 2, and another group of 2. So if that's the case, this, I'll color coordinate it here. This is one set of 2, so that 2 times 2 we know is 4. So we're going to put a 4 up here. okay? And then we have that times sign. Let me send this backwards, send to back. So you have your first 4. Then you have another set of 2's, which I'll color coordinate to a different color. You have another set of 2, so 2 times 2 is 4 again. And remember, its multiplication is a symbol that's in between. So you look at the operation that's in between, and it's a multiplication. And then you have a last set of 2's, which is another set of 2's, which I will color coordinate that for you, and we'll make that orange. And that's another 4. And then if you look, there's a multiplication symbol in between. So we're going to be multiplying again. So that's like 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Well, we know that 4 times 4 is 16. So we're going to put 16 below that. Times 4. And then when we do 16 times 4, if we do 16 times 4, so I'm going to actually, you would get 64. So then you would do 6 and 4. Because what I did on my scrap piece of paper off to the side, I did 16 times 4. If I were to line those up and do 6 times 4, which is 24, 4 times 1 is 4, 5, 6. So it would give me 64. So this answer would equal 64. So now you need to look and see which one has the bigger amount. You have 64, 81, 49, and 25, and you're looking for the greatest value, and 81 clearly is the largest number, so C would be your answer. So I drag my circle there and circle C. The next one says, what is the value of 4 squared plus 3 squared? That's just saying, what is the answer to it? What's the standard form for this? So we have to do 4 squared. That's our first step. Okay, so we do 4 times 4. Okay, now you have to look at what the sign is in the middle. That's what determines the sign that you use. Since it's a plus sign, you are going to be adding in between. Now, if it was a multiplication sign like it was over here, you would put a multiplication sign. But since there is this plus sign right here, you have to pay attention to that, because when paying attention to that, that determines what sign you're going to be doing with those two exponential forms. Okay, so the next one we have is 3 squared. So you have 3 times 3. Okay, so now you have 4 times 4 plus 3 times 3. Well, 4 times 4, we already determined over here was 16, so we're going to put 16 down. Plus, because that sign just comes down. If it helps, I'll put even an arrow to point that it goes straight down. You just keep moving it down. That's why it's so important to be very neat when you're doing your math work, so you can keep it in line with where it needs to be. And then you got to do 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, and then you'll add those two up. So on your scrap piece of paper, you're going to do 16 plus 9, or you can use your fingers, whatever you prefer. You would do 6 plus 9 would be 15. 1 plus 1 is 2. So your answer is going to be 25. Okay. The last one says find the value of 5 to the third power. So that's just what is the answer of 5 to the third power. So, or 5 cubed. So you would do 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, so you have 5 times 5 times 5. Well, we know 5 times 5 is 25. So we have our 25. Times, because that times sign is there, 5. Now, 25 times 5, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh my God, that's such a big number to multiply. But think of quarters. If you have 5 quarters, you have $1.25. So that is simply what your answer is without the decimal point, because there's no decimal point. So your answer is 125. Right? So hopefully that helps you, and when you're doing it on your own, so you can refer back to this. Also refer back to the slide before our practice of evaluating exponents. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'd be glad to help you guys.